Other thing, corruption has killed more people than the civil wars combined in Africa. So this is a crime against humanity, for which punishment should be the ultimate punishment.
An intellectual African once said, if Africa refused to kill corruption, corruption will not refuse to kill Africa. The day Africa conquers a common enemy of corruption is the day she gets back the stolen key to unleash her greatness. An end to corruption is an end to the Africa's challenges. Over 6 decades ago, on the Independence Day of Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, standing before his fellow countrymen in Accra, Ghana, I can hear him say, at long last, the battle has ended. And thus, Ghana, your beloved country, is free forever. But the Ghana's independence is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of the African continent. Fortunately, following the Ghana's independence comes the independence of other African countries, among which is the giant of Africa, Nigeria. But on this day, though free we are from the shackles of slavery, yet we've landed in just another slavery. But this time, in the hands of our own black brothers, our own black sisters in leadership who now steals what belongs to all of us and give back to the white man. Some leaders fought hard for our freedoms. Some others throws us back in bondage.
But here in Africa, corruption drains billions of dollars from economies that can't afford to lose billions of dollars. That's money that could be used to create jobs and build hospitals and schools.
Let's fix this. More than ever, we, Africans, are in that time of history when a spade should be called nothing but a spade. Dear African leaders, we understand that development is a gradual process. But for how long? For how long do we have to wait? Africa has enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. We are Africans. We live in a land of gold, a land of oil, silver, uranium, tin, cobalt. We have a massive arable land. We should be the one feeding the world and not the one begging for aid. Dubai, UAE is a desert, yet it has grown to become one of the best cities in the world. Africa has numerous resources, yet she is ranked as the poorest continent in the world. Now, isn't that a shame? The difference is just one: leadership. Dear black leaders, why not pause? Take a second thought at that moment, just before you are about to divert the public funds to your personal accounts. Why not pause? Think again and again. Remember, that poor woman in your country who will die in a hospital because of inadequate medical facility and because she can't even afford the prescribed medicine. Remember, that poor man in your country who sets out in the morning with the hope of returning to his family at night, but unfortunately his journey ended on the bad roads you refused to fix. Remember, that innocent poor boy in your country starving to death, begging to get at least a meal for a day. Remember that weak young lady with a sick mind, tired of the unending struggles and heartache. She gave up and hung herself. Now tell me, who killed her? More than anything, I believe so much, with a strong conviction, that the day the Africa's leadership wears a new look is the day the Africa's challenges will vanish. Dear black leaders, we young Africans are trailing your path. So we need you to be our role model, a good model. We need leaders who will show us a true democracy and not kleptocracy. In Nigeria, we know what comes to mind when names like General Sani Abacha is mentioned. in the Democratic Republic of Congo, if leaders like Mobutu Sese Seko Kuku Gbendu Wazabanga is mentioned, we all know what comes to mind. In Ghana, if we mention leaders like Kwame Nkrumah, we all know what comes to mind. They all have one thing in common. They are now history. And one day, you and I will be history. But the question is, what will the future generation say about us? Will my children, will your children say, God bless that generation? Or will they say, damn, we wish they never existed? My fellow Africans, let us remember where we are coming from. How we were bought and trade, shipped away from our lands, away from our families to a known destination. At high, face to face with the true African spirit of bravery, strength, and determination, we fought our way through slavery. And today, we are free. That is the story of the black race. We will summon that spirit once more to rise above our impediment and show the world the uniqueness of the black continent. We will show them what the black race can do. We will show them that our beautiful black and brown skin is not equivalent to a black and brown brain. We are Africans. We will summon that spirit once more. The true African spirit of selflessness and incorruptibility, for we know that the key to unleash the African's greatness lies not in our personal interest, but in our collective national interest. After many decades living in the dark continent, we Africans will wake from our slumbers. We will put an end to corruption before corruption puts an end to us. We will reclaim the dreams of our founding fathers, the Africa's dream of Kwame Nkrumah, the dream of Patrice Emery Lumumba, the dream of Chief Obafemi Awolowo, the dream of our hero, Nelson Mandela. And the decades of darkness will be over, and the greatness of Africa will shine for the world to see. And we as a people will finally reach that promised land, and Africa will rise and finally be great. God bless Africans. God bless Mama Africa. Thank you.